Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome to the daily forecast for Sunday, April 21st, 2024. A very happy day of the sun to you. And for a quick rundown, reminders, it is the Taurus season. We are in the Celtic tree month of Willow. It's Mercury retrograde Aries, and we are in a waxing moon. Now, the details on our astrology for today. The sun, of course, is in Taurus, a fixed earth sign representing practicality. Moon is in second quarter Libra, cardinal air, representing humility. Mercury is still retrograding in Aries, cardinal fire, representing fiery tempers. But relax, gang, we are on the downward slope on that one. We will be released from the retrograde very soon. Venus is in Aries, a cardinal sign representing being impulsive. Mars is in Pisces, mutable water, representing curiosity. Jupiter is in Taurus, a fixed earth sign representing practicality. Saturn is in Pisces, mutable water, representing nostalgia. Uranus is in Taurus, fixed earth, representing renovation. Neptune is in Pisces, which is mutable water representing imagination. There we go. And Pluto is in Aquarius, fixed air, representing reformation. And of course, remember, as always, our Mercury retrograde mantra: rethink, revise, and redo. So the sun is currently waxing in gibbous, which means it is time for us to cultivate our intentions. And for the Libra room, remember to do connect and do look for solutions and do get involved in cultural activities. But don't get lost in romanticism, emotionalism, or manipulation. Now, because it is the day of the sun, it is time to embrace this shift of mood from Aries to Taurus. Aggression is going to be dying down, and it will be replaced with a spirit of creative diligence. This is a time to do things, it's a time to make things, and times to transform our theories into something a bit more practical. Have a little bit something to show for all the thinking we do up here. Next, there we go. It cooperated. Our tarot card for the day is the Green Man. He is the patriarch of nature, the dark man of the sacred oak. He represents the idea of the king and the land being as one and sharing the same fate. It represents the Dagda. It is the heart of the Pendragon. So essentially the divine masculine in all of its forms, in its most potent form. That is essentially what the Green Man is representing in this particular tarot deck. Now, because we have such an overwhelming divine masculine influence, I think this is a bit of a nudge for us to reconnect with any masculine deities that we work with. And we should be working with masculine deities. If you only do masculine deities or you only do feminine deities, you are by definition out of whack and out of balance. So you need to make sure that you have a balance of these influences in your spiritual practice. It is, after all, for your benefit. But also, I think it's a bit of a reminder that who we were told that, God, the ultimate supreme authority, who we were told that he was in many of our childhoods, if we were brought up in the Abrahamic traditions, that is not the same person as what is being represented by the Green Man or the god in Wicca or any of the masculine gods in any of the pagan pantheons. We are not talking about the same person. So if someone is kind of struggling with their previous programming, this would probably be a very good day to start, deconstructing that programming at least a little bit, get onto that pathway or get further along on that pathway if this is something you've already been working on, and just spend a little bit of time with contemplation and spend a little bit of time trying to connect with other masculine deities. Sometimes the best way to get rid of a bad impression is to replace it with a different impression. So that's something to think about there. Now for today's Celtic triad, it reads: 3 rude ones in the world. A youngster mocking an old person, a robust person mocking an invalid, a wise man mocking a fool. So mocking the old people, not really a particularly good idea, not something I would recommend. They have managed to survive longer than we have for a reason. And of course, I'm reminded of this saying I saw one time that age and treachery will overcome youth and skill. Not just pretty words. So all together, It's one thing to not necessarily take counsel from every older person because some of them have not accrued wisdom in the way that they really ought to have, but those who have, not people to be messing with. And mocking an invalid, what brought to my mind is that, none of us are immune from illness or injury or their consequences. And sometimes there are long term and even permanent consequences as a result of injury or illness. And none of us have any special dispensation. It can happen to anyone. And sometimes it happens out of blue sky. We're walking along, we're minding our business, then some crazy person loses control of their car, bam into us, and then suddenly you're paralyzed for life. That wasn't your fault. You were where you were supposed to be. You were doing what you were supposed to do. No one asked the crazy person to crash into you. So, yeah, and the thought that you would be defined and judged by that particular state, and that no one would, and that you would be mocked or not taken seriously on account of that. I mean, that's about as insulting as it gets. So again, there's a reason why we're being counseled to avoid this. And then mocking a fool. Now, this is a really hard one to avoid because it's very fun mocking fools. But what I get from this verse is really the reminder and the recognition that everyone is capable of foolishness, no matter how wise you are, no matter how intelligent you are. We all have our little flutters of the brain in which we are not reasoning in the manner in which that we should. We are not drawing upon our intuition that we are not applying knowledge that we have previously accrued, and sometimes that leads to very, very silly, and I might say dumb decisions. We aren't immune from foolishness. It is a contagion, and no one has immunity. So I think it's about being cautious and essentially perhaps not making it your life's focus to point out at every silly thing that someone does and go, ha ha, because that could be you 5 minutes from now. Next up, our magical intentions for today are cultivating those divine connections. For this, I've chosen the color gold, the maple tree, the ocelot, and the citrine crystal. And the question you might contemplate today is, are you aligned with the divine? I think this works very well with our tarot card for the day and the fact that it's Sunday. It's all about bringing us closer to that divine masculine. Now, for our daily practices, if I may be so bold as to suggest that we start reinstituting the custom of Sunday dinner. No, it's not just a thing that Christians did after church. I mean, let's take a more mature and a broader view. The benefits of gathering, family and maybe some close friends around the table for Sunday dinner. It's for one thing, you're going to just a little bit of extra effort than you do throughout the rest of the week. You are being hospitable. You are reconnecting with people. And it's about each other's company. It isn't, you haven't gathered there because, there's a fundraiser or there's an event or there's something that you have to do, or because it's about trying to get people to spend money or anything like that. It's just about the company. Just the company. We shouldn't really wait for our holidays just to invite someone else to break bread with us. I mean, I think it's very strange that we've become so disconnected that that's such a foreign and intimidating idea. And besides, with the Sunday dinner, it's an excuse to, get out the good china if you have it, fold the napkins, whether they are cloth or paper, whatever they may be, fold them nicely, teach your kids about, a nice way to set a table, explain to them about, even though there's a lot of different ways that a table could be set. The reason why certain customs have become standardized is because it makes it easier for people to sit down together and not have complete anarchy at the table. You can teach them the purpose of customs that don't necessarily conform to logic in some way. You can show them how they have value, and of course, kids learning that lesson a little bit earlier on, that can be quite valuable for them. Today is also a good day to honor a solar deity. Tidy and beautify your garden, meditate or take a nap in the sun, get some fresh air, and maybe do a little bit of contemplation about what are you optimistic about. I could probably make a list of many of the things that you are probably feeling not optimistic about, and for quite frankly, very good reason. But let's use this opportunity to refocus on what we do feel optimistic about, what gives us real hope, what keeps us going, what keeps that inner fire continuing to burn. I think that could be uplifting. Now, our fae of the day is the hobgoblin, and I found the cutest one I possibly could for you on Pinterest. And for your journal prompt, what do you imagine an encounter with a hobgoblin would be like? I mean, that could be pretty exciting. So I think that could be an interesting little thing for you to write about today. And that is what I have for you for the daily forecast. Come back tomorrow for another edition. And in the meantime, let me know what you thought of this one in the comment section, or send me an email at brigantiablackbird@protonmail.com, and I'd be happy to chat with you there. But I think that'll do it for right now, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.